So my name is Sara Donaldson. I am doing a combined program, a Masters of Clinical Neuropsychology and Doctor of Philosophy, or PhD, and my research field is in obstructive sleep apnea and cognition. So my research is about obstructive sleep apnea, which is a sleep breathing disorder where an individual stops breathing lots and lots of times over the course of a night, which affects how deep their sleep is able to go and how restful their sleep is. And we know that that affects cognition to some degree. However, the current findings in literature are very inconsistent in terms of not everyone with sleep apnea has cognitive changes, and the severity of someone's sleep apnea doesn't always correspond to the severity of their cognitive impairments. So in my research, we wanted to look at, well, what are the reasons for those inconsistent findings? So in the first instance, we wanted to look at, is it the way that we're measuring sleep apnea, the severity, that's the problem? Is it the way that we're measuring cognition, that's the problem? Or is it that we're not considering individual differences that might make someone more or less vulnerable to experiencing cognitive changes in the brain? So in my research, we used both measures of sleep and measures of cognition. So for measures of sleep, we used a home-based device for one of my studies, which looked at naturalistic sleep. So it was a device that participants could take home and measure their sleep with. The second one was a polysomnography, which is a lab-based measure, much more controlled, and it's just overnight with lots and lots of different wires. And then for cognition, we used a computerized battery that was about 30 minutes or so long that measured different aspects of cognition across domains of things like working memory, attention, short-term memory, things like that. And yeah, that's pretty much the measures that we used. Yeah, so I guess this is a question that every researcher asks themselves. So I guess one thing that I think about quite a lot is with the cognition side of the things that we're doing, we're looking at the way that we measure cognition traditionally, but we're also adding in this thing called intra-individual variability, which has found some promise in the research, but isn't really used much clinically yet. So my stretching implications would be that clinicians would actually start using that in practice as well. So that could change the way that neuropsychologists actually work. In terms of the sleep apnea side of things, it would be that we kind of develop a much better understanding that people can vary and that there's not just one way that sleep apnea looks like, because people are complicated, and so we need to consider all the different factors that might contribute towards cognitive change.